In this video, I'm going to be sharing my first year as a software engineering student at We Think Code, which is basically my first year into the tech world. I hope you enjoy it. So it's your first time seeing me on this channel or seeing me online. My name is Sandile Mkhize. I am a first year software engineering student at We Think Code, and I happen to be in a wheelchair as well. The purpose of me shooting this video, I just wanted to share sort of my first year experience at We Think Code as somebody who is a wheelchair user, and also just how cool I think the institution is and how good it's been for the past year. So firstly, I'm going to be talking about what made me sort of like transition or take that leap to go into software engineering, because honestly it wasn't really one of my first choices. So for those that don't know, I was actually involved in a motorcycle accident in 2013, and that left a lot of confusion in my life. But in the midst of that confusion, I think I'll go more into detail about that in a different video, but in the midst of all of that confusion, I decided to go back to school full-time, and I was studying finance. And as I was studying finance, something happened in 2016 that led me to basically create a website as a hobby. As I got a bit of success from that, I decided to actually make the transition and take the leap and move into software engineering full-time. We Think Code has a structure where before you make it into the program, you write a few online exams, and then after that, you do a 4-week boot camp. So the first time I applied to We Think Code in 2018, I actually made it into the bootcamp process. However, I did have to drop out because I actually developed a bunch of pressure sores from sitting for too long. But I do give We Think Code credit for the fact that they tried to accommodate my situation, and they were willing to even allow me to do the bootcamp in Cape Town that same year. But I went to hospital and I opted against that, and I told myself I'd reapply in 2019, which I did, and I made it. I made it through the bootcamp, and we started in May to do our first couple of projects and assignments. So when I applied again in 2019, I figured that I have to find a way to solve that problem of developing pressure sores. So what I actually did was, and I think I'll make a video about this at some point, I actually got a massage bed and a wedge which I can place on my chest, and I basically was working on my stomach the entire time. So I did the entire bootcamp process on my stomach, and I was over the moon because this was sort of confirmation that I did make the right choice. And you know, stepping away from my degree in my final year wasn't the worst decision in the world, even though I will be going back to finish my finance degree though. For those that don't know, We Think Code is an innovative tech institution which trains tech developers for 2 years. And what makes them unique is that their method of teaching is there are no teachers, there are no lecturers. It's a peer-to-peer learning environment. On top of that, it is free for everybody, or it's free for everybody who makes it rather. But if you apply and you make it in, you have 2 years at We Think Code, where 8 months you are learning and you're a student, and you spend 4 months interning at a company and putting those tech skills that you've learned into use. As you get into We Think Code, the first thing that you do is you get introduced into the environment. They explain to you the process, and it's a wonderful, energetic, sort of buzzing environment, and you're surrounded by a lot of smart people. Definitely a lot of people who are smarter than me, that's for sure. So after a few weeks of introduction, you get given your projects and you dive straight into programming. The curriculum at We Think Code, the way I would describe it is that you are sort of given an introduction into programming project, and then you dive straight into your elective modules, which could be anything from algorithms to graphics or Unix as well. There are also web modules, and these are projects that you would do over the 8 months until it is time for the internship period. Not only does We Think Code teach you how to learn programming, but it teaches you how to teach yourself how to program, which I think is valuable in an ever-changing industry like this. So in my particular instance, I do feel like I was falling behind majority of the time, because not only was I learning sort of new skills and how to program, I was also learning how to be a functioning adult in a wheelchair. This is why I personally love We Think Code, is because I don't think I would have been able to learn those skills in an environment that was also willing to assist and accommodate me and my condition and help me sort of figure out my way around those things. And for me, that has been the most valuable thing. Of course, the tech skills are great, but it's great for somebody in a wheelchair like myself to figure out himself in the sort of getting work ready and getting back into the work environment. So what I think is the cool thing about We Think Code is that they don't only focus necessarily on the fact that you have technical skills that they're trying to equip you with, but they take sort of a holistic approach to you as a human being in your learning environment. So everything that has to do with work readiness, how to present yourself, something as simple as writing emails, and which, a lot of us take that for granted, but we should remember that a lot of people necessarily haven't been using or are used to using computers. I think that's pretty cool of them, and also sort of like the anxiety support that they have around. I really think that they're probably one of the leaders in making sure that people are okay and are able to thrive in a particular environment. And the most amazing thing for me is that personally, I now no longer have the anxiety of how am I going to be able to get into the workforce, because I was always scared about sitting for long periods of time because of getting pressure sores again. Because personally, I can't afford to go back into hospital for long periods of time. I need to sort of, keep progressing with my life. So after the first week or so, we get a real introduction into sort of like the outline of our projects, which is an introduction into programming, and then we touch on algorithms, or you can choose Linux systems, or you can get into graphics. But one of the other core modules is web development. And all of this is all thrown at you at such a rapid pace that you have to keep fighting and you have to keep pushing yourself in order to do well, which is a great way to learn, in my opinion. The education system in which students are spoon-fed, like sort of the university syllabus, which works to a certain extent, but I think in tech, you do need to have a different kind of approach, which is why I think We Think Code is going to be around for a long time. And the mere fact that they really take away all barriers. But to continue about my particular experience on the first year, there's so many aspects of things that I could go into more detail about in the next videos, but I think it's just important to know that what you can expect if you are going to apply for We Think Code is that you will be learning every day. Things will be thrown at you at a rapid pace. However, it is probably one of the most fun and the most exciting environments to be in, regardless of who you are, where you come from, and what you plan to do. So I finished my 8 months of studying, and I won't lie, it did take me longer than most to sort of grasp certain concepts and have confidence in programming. However, I do feel that a lot of my problems would have been solved if I just spent more time in front of the computer. However, having to learn to be productive, in my new environment, in a bed, it was weird, but eventually I got the hang of it. So after the 8 months, you are then given an opportunity to do your 4-month internship. So majority of the people went. Unfortunately, I was not chosen to go for an internship. Of course, I was bummed at first because nobody ever wants to feel like they're kind of falling behind, but that kind of worked in my favor because it took a lot of pressure off regarding still figuring out how to be a working, functioning adult in a wheelchair. But it also gave me a lot of time not only to work on my technical skills, but also to continue working on my project. I want to share my project with you guys, but I'm not too sure if I want the public to know necessarily what it is right now, simply because it's already out there. However, I've always valued separating myself from it. As much as I do think it is valuable for me to spend a lot of time working on my own project and my own business, however, I do think there is value in getting exposure to other teams and learning from people who have been in the industry for a long time. So one of my main goals for my second year is not only to crush my projects, but to make sure that I make it for a second year internship as well. So in short, I guess I'm just trying to share my story just in case there is anybody out there that is thinking about coming to We Think Code and learning how to program and starting a tech career there, or anybody with a disability that would also like to get into the software engineering space. I think on this channel, I'm going to be documenting a lot of that journey. I'm not sure what I want to do with this channel just yet, but I just feel like it is important for me to sort of tell my story and to share my experiences of what I've gone through. I must apologize. I'm pretty sure it's not a great video. It is my first video, but I figured I can only get better. So even if I suck now, that's fine. I'm still finding my feet. That's a wheelchair joke. I really hope that you guys find parts of this video useful. Yeah, please do hit me up on social media if you have any questions or anything that you'd like to know moving forward. And I'm looking forward to my second year at We Think Code. Thanks for tuning in, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.